Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a Cryptid Encounters video on the Portlock Predator. Before I get into this though, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on social media, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon.com. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there. Hope you find some you like, and I hope you enjoy them. I should have a new book coming out sometime in March. It's a tabletop role-playing game, Outlaw Trails. I do videos of it on my channel. I'm putting it out in book form so that other people can get it and enjoy it as well. All right. The Portlock Predator. There's a specific cryptid which is exclusively native to Alaska. Goes by many names, including, let me get these right here, Nantinak, Bushman, Inyokrua, Big Hairy Man, Gilyak or Gilyat, and the Cannibal. This is Bigfoot's bigger, meaner cousin, evidently. These critters top out at 15 to 18 feet tall, and tracks have been measured at over 18 inches long. It's known for hunting and eating humans. Native lore says it's a spirit made flesh, and it can become invisible at will and even teleport when needed. Talk about terrifying. The reason this video is named the Portlock Predator is because these particular creatures are directly responsible for causing the seaside village of Portlock, Alaska, to be abandoned multiple times since 1779. A Spanish crew tried to settle the area after finding the remnants of an old fishing village. The captain and crew could not figure out why such an ideal settlement area would be abandoned, but they soon figured it out. Details there are sparse, but those folks fled in a hurry within just a few months. In 1785, a British ship, commanded by Captain Nathaniel Portlock, found the remnants of the village. They decided to try and make a go of it. The crew began to complain of nausea and a feeling of fear with no cause. They begged Portlock to let them leave, and ultimately they did. It is a proven fact that some predators produce what is called infrasound. This causes vertigo and nausea and tends to unnerve their prey. This may be what affected Portlock's crew, but we have no way of knowing. In 1867, the area was settled by nomadic Sukpiak, and within a month, they were attacked by what they called cannibal giants. These creatures raided them nightly, and finally in 1905, the Sukpiak fled in terror. In 1921, Russian Alutiks settled in the area, in the very same spot. They set up a cannery for the abundant salmon in the area. And they also built a post office and a school. They intended to make it an actual city. This group of settlers, being related to the Sukpiak, had heard all of the stories about the cannibal giants. They set up their defenses well. There were armed guards and a curfew. Villagers were not allowed to venture into the woods. They only left the village in groups. They never went out into the fog. On foggy days, they heard the creatures prowling the streets, but the situation was pretty much nonviolent. After 10 years of relative safety, the villagers became lax. A logger ventured into the woods and was found with his head caved in. His dogs were slaughtered and his sled was destroyed. After that, more people started disappearing. Bodies started washing up on the beach and were found in the woods. Before long, at least 37 bodies had turned up. The bodies were all mutilated in ways neither a bear or a wolf could or would. At one point, the cannery workers collectively refused to go to work. The creatures had them extremely frightened. By 1950, the death toll had gotten too high, and the villagers decided to get the hell out. They went about their usual routine by day, but then overnight they all fled at once. They figured to outsmart the beasts. The only remaining villager was a single postal worker who barricaded himself inside the post office. He hid in fear and listened to the creatures stalking the streets of the empty village. By 1957, even he had fled. Since then, stories have been told by hunters who happened upon Portlock for one reason or another. They either see the creature or hear it stalking them. They all fled in sheer terror. Can you blame them? Imagine a 15 to 18 foot tall mountain of a creature that can become invisible and teleport and has a taste for human flesh. It looks at you like a Happy Meal with legs and can't wait for a taste. I was watching one of these stupid little Monster Hunter TV series, and I can't remember what it was. So I wouldn't mention it if I could, because Anyway, these guys went into the woods around the abandoned village of Portlock. They were actually trying to find one of these things. The kicker was, between the three of them, they had one 9mm pistol. That's it. I'm sorry, you wouldn't catch me out there at all. But if forced to go, I'd bring something with a hell of a lot bigger than a 9mm. We're talking maybe a law rocket at least, or maybe an automatic grenade launcher, a couple of elephant rifles, that kind of thing. But yeah, that right there tells you they weren't afraid. They didn't believe. Monster hunters that don't actually think they're going to find a monster probably aren't going to look very hard. That being said, this village of Portlock does exist. There's documented cases of people who have talked about it, people who knew people who had been there, old relatives, that kind of thing. This is a real place. It did exist, and the buildings are still there. People were chased out by what they described as cannibal giants. So there you go, the Portlock Predator. Anybody else who has any more information, please stick it in the comments. I'm sure we'd all love to read them. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all. There is a house in New Orleans where the monsters all hang out. When the police detective, who happens to be a skinwalker squirrel, uncovers a plot by a paranormal perpetrator, he has to enlist the aid of his fellow housemates. If you enjoy a modern, quirky take on historical mythology, check out my new original novel, The House Off Farago Road.